Hi, everybody. This is David Nevins for City Biz. Welcome to our program today. And our special guest is Sandra Hopkins, and she is the newly installed president of the Harford County Association of Realtors. Sandra, first, congratulations. And second, welcome to our program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
It's indeed our pleasure. So I guess let's begin, because not everybody is an expert, as you quite obviously are, on the Harford County Association of Realtors. So how about if you begin by sharing with us what it is and what the role of the president is there?
Sure. So I started my journey with the Harford County Association of Realtors about 9 to 10 years ago. I was the president for the Women's Council of Realtors, Harford County Network. And as the president, we had the opportunity to sit on the board as a director. So that was my first introduction to sitting on the board. And I held the position as president for 2 years. So I got to sit on the board for 2 years, and it was a great opportunity to find out how the association runs and how much they do for us as realtors and members. And from there, I served as a 3-year director, and should we say the rest is history? The association is not only for its members, but we also are very involved in our local community and advocating for property rights, which is what we're here for today.
So tell us a little bit about your advocacy. I'm glad you brought it up. That was my next question. Your advocacy for property rights, what does that mean?
Yes, so the association's dedication to advocacy typically works to promote the interest of its members in the real estate industry. And that can involve lobbying for favorable legislation, engaging in policy discussions, and advocation for issues that are important to the real estate community, such as property rights, housing affordability, and industry regulations.
And before we get into that, and I know a specific issue you want to talk about, share with us just in general the state of the real estate industry in Harford County today. And you and I are talking, we're talking in roughly mid-January of 2024. So for a belated Happy New Year to all of our viewers. But beyond that, Sandra, just tell us about Harford County and real estate. I know we read a lot about, real estate sales are down, but I hear, interest rates are slowly creeping back down. So maybe the market's getting hotter again, as I know it has been for a long time in Harford County.
Yeah, so Harford County, I've lived in Harford County all my life. And we're set in such a great position because we're close to Baltimore, close to Philly. We have, military installations here. So when some parts of the country are not doing so well, I feel like in the 20 years that I've been in real estate, that Harford County has always been able to, we've always been able to stay busy. Granted, the inventory is really low right now. There are more buyers out there than homes that we can provide for them. And with the interest rates coming down some now, more buyers are kind of jumping on the train and wanting to take advantage of that. So the inventory is the biggest struggle that we have right now. And I think that a lot of sellers are in a position where they probably refinanced back when the interest rates were 2, 3, 4%. And now they're looking at 7, well, it was close to 8% a while ago, having to sell their home with an interest rate of 3 or 4% and then purchasing at 7 or 8 kind of kept them in their homes a little bit longer than I think they wanted to. But I think with the interest rates coming down again, I think we'll start seeing some more inventory pop on the market.
Yeah, it's a tough market because the slow decline in interest rates that we are likely now to be seeing brings more buyers. But as you noted, there aren't enough sellers to match the buyers, and I guess that's good for housing prices. So they stay high. In any event, let's shift gears. I know Harford County is a great place to live, and as a result, they have the scenario that you just talked about. But let's get into something a little more specific that I think you wanted to chat about as well. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in 2019, the Harford County Council passed legislation allowing for what are called ADUs, or accessory dwelling units. And I think they have been, at least thus far, limited to family occupation. So why don't you tell our viewers, first of all, far better than I can, what an ADU is, and then share with us what your association would like to see happen and why.
Sure. So accessory dwelling units can be in the home, or they can be a separate building. And right now, the ADUs are only for family members, not even caregivers. So my husband and I actually had the opportunity to do this with his parents. They lived in Harford County. They were aging and they didn't want to move into a retirement home. They wanted to age in place. So we renovated their house so that we could move in and take care of them. So that is now allowed with the changes. And at the time, the members of the council agreed to revisit the issue in a few years. So that was in 19. And then in 2021, Maryland Realtors began a campaign asking counties to support the ADUs. According to the Glassman administration, during the first 3 years on the books, our county, Harford, averaged about 10 ADU permits a year. And this is because not everyone can or will build an ADU. In 2022, the General Assembly passed a bill calling for a 2-year study on ADUs, as the state wants to put together legislation as well. So far, they've met one time to date that I know of. And then in April of last year, Anne Arundel County passed ADU legislation without familial restrictions. So some of the most powerful testimony during their bill consideration was actually from a single mom who was really sick. And the only reason she got to keep her home was because she rented out her basement ADU to a friend. Then in October of 2023, which is just a few months ago, we, as the Board of Directors for Harford County Association, passed a motion supporting legislation to remove the familial clause restriction on the Harford County ADU code. So that's kind of where we are right now.
So yeah, you did an outstanding job of describing it. I know you used a lot of we'll call it industry terminology and lingo. So if just to make sure I understood what you were saying. So currently, someone, let's say, has the right in Harford County to renovate their basement and put in another kitchen if it's required, or to renovate even their garage, whether it's attached or even if it's standalone, to renovate it, as long as it's going to be occupied by a family member.
That's correct.
Right? And your association feels that the community will benefit significantly by eliminating the restriction on a family member, essentially, to allow for caregivers or friends or someone else. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so presumably that would allow elderly to stay in their house longer, and it would allow families to stay together, and and all those good things.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about the ADUs is the homeowner must reside on the property. So it's not like an Airbnb or something like that where everybody leaves, you know, and it's rented out. The other thing is HOAs supersede the code. So if the HOA doesn't allow an ADU, then they're not going to be allowed to have
Okay,
it.
okay. I'm glad you clarified that. And of course, most communities don't have HOAs, but certainly a number of them do.
Right.
Well, good luck, and I'd like, maybe we can continue the conversation in the future as this legislation moves forward, and let us know if we can help get the word out to residents of Hartford County. It sounds like something that would benefit the community for
Yeah, in
sure.
a lot of ways, not just for the larger senior population, but also, you know, um, an average person rents a property for 5 years before they move their home buyer journey forward. And we want to be able to provide something for younger people, like recent college grads or techs or first responders, school teachers, people that can find an affordable place to live.
Good point. Well, again, good luck, and let us know if we can help get out the word going forward. So let me ask you, Sandra, as we come close to finishing our conversation, I know that the Hartford County Association of Realtors, I know you do a lot of things, and one of those represents a whole series of events and activities that you do throughout the year. Would you mind sharing a little bit of that with us as well?
Sure. So, as the association, we don't just work here in Hartford County. We actually live here and we want our communities to thrive. So, some of the things that we've done just recently this year, we raised $10,000 in a recent event towards scholarships for students who live in Hartford County and want to attend Maryland colleges or trade schools. We also raise money for local groups like the Hartford Family House or Brandon Tolson Foundation, and during COVID, food for hospital staff. So we've done blood drives. We're always looking for ways that we can reach out and serve our local community.
Good, good. And as we enter 2024, I know you are in your new role as president of the association. I know you have legislation to work on, as you just described, and it does seem, from what I hear and read, that maybe 2024 will become a pretty active year again from a real estate transaction perspective.
It's already starting out that way.
Well, good. Let's hope it continues. Sandra, is there anything else you want to share with our viewers before we close up?
I think the biggest thing that I would like to let people know is the bill is going to be introduced sometime this month in January. And then those that can will speak on it in February. So stay tuned for those dates. We're looking for people to come out and, speak favorably about the bill. So.
Well, again, good luck and good luck in your presidency. I know you've taken on a big job and a big role, and I have no doubt you're up to the task. Thank you, Sandra, for joining us today.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Our guest has been Sandra Hopkins, and she is the newly installed president of the Hartford County Association of Realtors. Sandra, thank you for joining us, and to all our viewers, thank you for joining as well. This is David Nevins for City Biz.